is a blast from the past. This is Oscar and Joe on a live stream together. This is back into COVID time. We're back into COVID time here, mate. We're back in the Premier League. We're back in finishing ninth in the Premier League. Marcelo Bielsa is Leeds manager, and we're reacting to Patrick Bamford having the season of his life and having England call-ups. That is how long ago it is since we had this kind of dynamic, guys. And yeah, thanks very much for joining us anyway, guys, on this Thursday evening, because we have a lot to discuss. Mr. Wayman, Chelsea 3, Leeds 2 last night. Normally a bit gutted, but I'm actually not happy about the result, but I feel happier about the season going forward and beyond that, because this Leeds team means business, mate.
It does, mate. First and foremost, mate, thanks for having me on. Big up to all Leeds TV, to Tash, to Jack, to Michael, to everybody involved on the channel, the OGs of the YouTube scene. Really grateful to be back on, because I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for this channel, to be fair. So big up to them all. Make sure you show some love and smash a like on the video, because they are legends. Yeah, so last night, mate, like you say, to come off the loss after a last-minute goal, normally you'd be down, you'd be depressed, but you're not, you know what I mean? You're chuffed because the players that went out there, it's a second-string side as well. It was a second-string side. You get a team that go out there and you know, put on a performance like they did. Archie Gray bossing a midfield that cost over, you know, 200 million there or thereabouts. One of them a World Cup winner at that. Mateo Joseph getting a brace, you know, which was class as well. So listen, if we'd have got a glamour tie in the next round, I might have been disappointed, but I couldn't be asked playing Leicester again anyway. So let them play an extra game, Oscar, and we can just concentrate on winning the league.
That's exactly it, mate. Don't get me wrong, I did look at that potential tie at Leicester at home thinking, ooh, that could have been a little chance to knock Leicester, a little chance to get to Wembley, but you can't have it all. You can't have it all, mate.
No.
But yeah, I mean, the big thing for me, you know, in terms of, you know, Chelsea billion-pound team, you know, the way they celebrate the victory. You know, listen, obviously, anytime you win in the last minute, it was more relief than anything, but that team knows it was in a game yesterday. You know, we had 60% of the ball in the second half. A championship team having 60% of the ball at a top 10 Premier League side is absolute madness. And Archie Gray as well. I mean, you know, he's been immense all season. Listen, he has been. I think he's been the best young player in the league, you know, by quite a distance as well. This is one of the best debut seasons, possibly the best debut season we've seen from a youngster at this level. You know, I'm going back to people like Jude in the Championship. Birmingham. I actually think he's more consistent than what Jude was.
Definitely.
You can obviously debate that all day long. I'm not saying he's necessarily going to be as good as what Jude Bellingham was, but he's on a similar trajectory. But the thing is, it's all well and good doing it against Bristol City at home, going to Chelsea and doing it again in your best position and outperforming people like Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, you know, World Cup winners there. That is just how good Archie Gray is. That is how unbelievable he is. And Ethan Ampadu as well. It was a big one for Ethan Ampadu. The fact he's going back to the club that had no trust in him. And you wouldn't have said there is £92.5 million worth of difference in valuation between him and Caicedo. You just wouldn't, you know, in terms of performance. It's just absolutely immense. And obviously we didn't. I do genuinely think, mate, had Gigi Rutter, Somerville started that game, I think we win it. I genuinely, I don't even think it's a case of we draw it. I actually think we win the game.
Yeah, I said that myself, Oscar. I think I don't even think you need Somerville because Anthony played well and got 2 assists. So I just genuinely think you replace Piro with Rutter and we win the game. I just think he caused them all sorts of problems. There probably does need to be a conversation about Piro towards the end of the season about what his future looks like at Leeds. But I think, look, someone said in the chat, not second string, but you know, there was a lot of changes, wasn't there, mate? You know, so you know, for us to go there and do what we did, it was amazing. And yeah, Rutter in there, we do win that game. I agree with you, mate. Why not?
Yeah, but listen, it's one of those. I do still take the positives that Leicester played an extra game. Exactly. Southampton got battered by the Liverpool kids, really, didn't they? So that's obviously going to battle them a little bit. Russell Martin again. He's at it again.
We love it, don't we, Oscar? We love it, man.
He's done it again.
He's done it again.
His head is going at this moment in time. Yes. He is seriously Southampton at this moment in time. If they lose another game,
proper Lampard, isn't he, Tory? You can just tell. What about his name, Oscar? Alexander the Great or whatever it was.
Honestly, he went to Eton. I'm convinced of it. He was in class with Boris Johnson, etc., etc. You know what I mean? Russell. What was it? Russell
Russell Kenneth Alexander
Kenneth. I forgot the Kenneth bit of it. Yeah.
I love it, me.
Apologies if there is any Kenneths watching this, but what under 40-year-old bloke is called Kenneth these days? You know what I mean? It's nothing against the name Kenneth, apart from Kenneth H. But yeah, listen, his head is off the scales at this moment in time. He's on Jupiter, his head at this moment in time, isn't he? But yeah, that is big from that point of view. One thing I did want to talk to you about was, in terms of Matteo Joseph and Joel Piro, the difference in performance level between the two. Is Joseph low-key, is he ahead of Piro in the striking order now? Is that a hot take?
No, I don't think it is. I think I would say that, mate. Whether or not Farke sees it like that, I think he'll...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think he'll still look at Piro and say, look, he's got me 11 goals and a couple of assists. Still time for you yet, Joseph. But I think amongst the fan base, if Bamford wasn't fit on Saturday and we've seen Piro in the 9 and Rutter in the 10, we're probably all going, why aren't you playing Joseph? So I think in the fan base, he showed me enough last night, mate. The movement for the header, for the ball from Anthony. He gets in between the two centre-backs. His finish, you've got to be alert to that. And he's really put his foot through it for the first goal as well. So, yeah, he's shown now for me, he belongs. He could have had a couple against Plymouth as well with the I think one cannoned off the crossbar and stuff. So I think, for me, Oscar, he should be ahead of Piro in the 9 role for sure.
Yeah, I've seen some... I mean, it's a bit harsh. I do think it's a little bit harsh. I've seen Lasogga comparisons to Piro, and I can't lie to you. I think Piro's a better player than Lasogga, but I'm kind of seeing where people are coming from with it in terms of lack of mobility, but brilliant finisher kind of thing.
He looks cumbersome on the ball, doesn't he? He looks lethargic a little bit, and it's frustrating, I think.
He looks, compared to all the other players in the team, you look at your Archie Grays, your Russes, your Somervilles, they buzz on the ball, don't they? They get the ball, they're away kind of thing. They're not even taking a second touch, they're away. How many times did you see Archie last night? One touch, bang, past Caicedo. One touch, bang, past Enzo Fernandez. And it's the tempo we play at. We do play at high tempo. We press. The pressing is another factor as well for me with Joel Piro, definitely. And he does look like the odd player out almost. And I think it's a bit harsh, some of the criticism, in terms of that he's our worst signing in X amount of years. I think
he's still got 11 goals, hasn't he, Oscar? That's
exactly. Joel Piro could not play another game for Leeds, and he'd still probably be a better signing than pretty much every signing Victor Orrs made last summer. If we're being honest, all right, most of those signings allow it. You know what I mean? We can have a bit of slander of Sinister in there. Yes, Sinister was a better player, etc., etc. Allow it, guys. For the sake of argument, allow it. But yeah, there's no chance there can be that level of criticism with Joel Piro. Yes, my expectation levels were higher. I think everyone's expectation levels were higher, but in terms of output, he's still done decent. He's got into the double figures. He maybe hasn't played every game, but he's still got his double figures out of position almost. So I'm not too concerned. I think the last thing to touch on about Chelsea, mate, just to change the topic, is Mr. Farke. In terms of, I think the last 2 games, Leicester and Chelsea, there's a good chance, Leicester will be a Premier League team next season. No matter how much you want to slander them, they will probably be. There's at least a 75, 80%, probably more chance they will be a Premier League team next season. Chelsea definitely will. I think we've fared really well in both games, to be honest. I think Daniel Farke, for all the criticism of can he make the step up, I think that's 2 early signs that I'm not going to get too carried away, but nice signs there, mate, surely.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. I think he's shown to me that he can mix it. I think, look, we did ride our luck a little bit against Leicester, but you're going to find that in the Premier League. I love Daniel Farke, and I love what he's done with the football club this season. I do want to go all out on him and say he's the man, but the only thing that worries me is, of course, the Premier League. But I think with proper backing, he's going to be all right. I think, obviously, naturally, as soon as we start losing games, people will be saying, get him gone because of what happened at Norwich and stuff. But I think we've just got to give him a bit of time and see how he gets on in the early stages in the Premier League. But if he does go on a long losing run, then I will be saying, look, Daniel, I do love you and I'm really grateful, but you do need to move on because you've shown us now you just can't operate at the Prem. But I think it'll be totally different with the 49ers. It's no longer run like a League One outfit behind the scenes, bro. You've probably seen that yourself working closer to the club, what it's
100%.
like now, you'll
100%.
have seen that. So I think, everything's set up, for Leeds United to be a success in the Prem this time. Because let's be honest, if the 49ers are in charge when Bielsa finishes 9th, we're still in the Premier League. You know what I mean? We're probably operating towards the top end. With that big of a club, I'm not. It might sound arrogant, but I believe that. So, I think this time around, mate, we're going to be all right. And Farke has shown in 2 games that he can mix it for me. Yeah, for sure. Because Enzo's a great coach, tactician. Whether or not his ideals will work in the Prem week in, week out remains to be seen. But Poch as well. We can all mock him and we all mock Chelsea because they're 11th, but they're still a Premier League side. And Poch has still managed the likes of Mbappe, Neymar and Messi. Let's not forget this fact. So he's not a scrub. And obviously Farke's almost got, a decent result against him. So all Farke are we, mate. I'm all about that German Brauthausen sausage thingy, whatever it is.
No, 100%, mate, 100%. I do. I've said it before. It's about making that Thomas. Listen, I don't like Thomas Frank, but that Thomas Frank step up in terms of yes, the way he plays at Championship level is very different. We probably are quite comparable to his Brentford team in terms of Ben Ramsell, Ben Rama, Watkins, and Buemo. We've got a similar kind of dynamic with Rutter, Somerville, and Nonto or James, whoever you want to throw in there as like kind of third option. It's a similar kind of setup and team, but Marco Silva as well. I think there was a lot of mocking about Marco Silva coming back into the Prem with Fulham. He's proven everyone wrong in that regard. And I think the thing is, we always talk about players improving, but managers improve all the time. I personally think this Leeds team, I think it batters Farke's Norwich team, to be honest. I really do. I think it's too physical for the Farke's Norwich team. And I think that's another sign of Farke adapting. The fact that he's got physical monsters in that team now. Your Joe Rodons, your Ampadu, and Glenn
Kamara's a beast. Kamara's a beast.
You really do realise in terms of since he's come in, how much of a beast he actually is. I thought he was a bit of a powerhouse at Rangers, but now you see him up and down the pitch, and that has been the recruitment, and it shows Farke's learning. But of course, we go into the weekend. The most important thing is Huddersfield away. And listen, there's been a bit of talk. Obviously, another Ken actually. Ken has made his appearance. Kenneth Nagel, am I right in saying?
Yeah, Nagel? That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Typical Ken here. He's obviously done the old Leeds, but with the stars where the E's are. That really, really funny bit of banter. Great banter. I believe Huddersfield's managers had a bit of a pop in the.
Well, he said that in Germany, Huddersfield are more known than Leeds United due to David Wagner. So I'm a bit like, I'm not sure I agree, but there you go. In fact, do you reckon if we walk around Munich and that, you might find like Huddersfield shirts? Is that what he's trying to tell us? Yeah, I just don't see it, mate. Do you? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think 1975 against Bayern Munich alone makes us better known than Huddersfield in every kind of sense, but. Yeah, I can't say David Wagner is a massive household name in Germany. I wouldn't have thought with your Jurgen Klopp, your Thomas Tuchel, your Nagelsmann, your Hansi Flicks. I wouldn't have thought that David Wagner is massive. I mean, what would David Wagner be the equivalent to in England? Like, I don't know.
Steve Evans?
We'll go with it. We'll run with it. Listen, I honestly don't go into this game thinking, wouldn't it be great if we win at Huddersfield and we send them down and all that lot. I genuinely don't honestly care about Huddersfield either way. I'm not fussed either way, in terms of I just want to win the game. I mean, it does feel like a massive one-sided rivalry, this one. How do you kind of feel about it, mate?
I agree. There's been no sort of talk from our side, even from the fans. It is a massive game for them. I think the facts are, I think any team in Yorkshire, really, it's a big game for them coming to Leeds. Any team in the Championship, without sounding like proper ego and that, but it's facts. And yeah, it's just another game, isn't it? Of course, you don't want to lose it. But yeah, look, the big thing for me is getting this record. Imagine we get this record of 10 straight wins on the spin. I mean, it'd be nice, but you don't want to lose that either, though, to Huddersfield. Little old Huddersfield stopping us getting the record. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but look, I'm excited to see how they go on though, mate, because this new manager Farke said he's playing some pressing football. They got after Hull City, although they lost that game. They won last week. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, he's got pedigree. I didn't realise until presser that he managed Zurich with Nonto. He managed Hoffenheim with Rutter. So he knows some of our players as well. So he's got decent pedigree. So I think it could be a decent game, and I think they'll come and have a go. But that could play into our hands, mate. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Huddersfield didn't go toe-to-toe with us. I can't see. I think every time, I'm not, unfortunately, I haven't got a ticket as things stand for Saturday, but every time I've been to Huddersfield, the crowd they've always came at us kind of thing, first 20 minutes of games. And often we've started quite poorly at Huddersfield, in the past. And I don't think we've actually got the best record in the world at Huddersfield. I think I've only seen us win once there, I can think of. I think it was under Warnock that as well, actually. But yeah, I just think they're just going to go toe-to-toe against us. And for me, I'm the same as you. I think it suits us. I mean, we've got better at playing against teams that sit in, in terms of picking those tight locks. But I think when you're leaving space to Nonto, Rutter and Somerville and just letting Patrick Bamford stand in the box, you're asking for trouble in that kind of regard. So I think it plays into our hands a lot. I think we can cope with the team going toe-to-toe with us. And we've got the midfield to play through, the press. Obviously, Rhodes on Ampadu, great on the ball. Maybe Junior Firpo, a little bit more nervy playing through a press. I think we've seen that last couple of weeks when teams have tried to press us. But I would say in general, still think technically Junior Firpo, I'd imagine, is a lot better than his Huddersfield counterpart. I'm not to be disrespectful, but I would imagine, former Barcelona left back, we still have, even in our weakest areas, we still have a lot more technical quality than Huddersfield. But listen, it's a Yorkshire derby. Anything can happen. This is the exact type of game we probably lost in the first bit of the season, if we're being honest, in terms of Stoke away kind of vibe, Preston away. But I feel a lot more better about us now going into these games. I'm not thinking we're going to put in a brilliant performance on Saturday, not for any particular reason. I just think it's a Yorkshire derby. I think it will be quite a scrappy one like Plymouth, but I still back us in those toe-to-toe, where it's quality v quality encounters. I do back us to have the difference makers there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. I think transitionally we're one of the best. We're probably the best side in the league. So I think if they do come and have a go at us, then obviously we can catch them. And then, like you say, in them moments, it does come down to quality. And I think we have the better quality of players. It's just the facts. And I'm glad Rutter's going to play Bamford, Somerville, Nonto. I just think that front four now is just too good for teams in this division. And I think the only way you're going to get a result against Leeds is if you sit in and play with a low block. And I don't think this new manager's going to do that. So I think, they'll come and have a go. But if we can score within, and how many times this season have we scored in the first 15 minutes? I think we're far and away leading that. And I think it's almost double the next team, which I think is Southampton. So I think if we score within 15 minutes, it just shuts any crowd up, doesn't it? And then we can just play our own game then. And as we know, score first, we win games. So I think, it'll be a good game of football, but hopefully we can score early and then the game's done for me, Oscar.
Yeah, I'm the same. I back us at 1-0 up against anyone, to be honest, in this league. Yes, I know last night we were ahead, but I still think if you had Ampadu in the back, I don't think we give that game away like we do. No. I think against anyone at this level, in the Championship level, I do feel all right about us. If we do need to sit in a little bit, we're happy to do that. I think we saw against Bristol City, last 10, 15 minutes of that, when they had a few moments in the game, we just sat in a deep block and just saw it out kind of thing.
I think as well, one of the ones that impressed me, I hated watching it at the time, but remember when we played Norwich and they had so much possession for about 20 minutes, but when you actually looked at it after the game, they had like 3 touches in our box. So even though we were under the cosh, they didn't even get close to, getting a goal or anything. So even that impressed me. I think we, like you say, over the course of the season, Oscar, Daniel Farke has improved us so much, man.
That's it. And I think with his Norwich team, I don't think they were capable of doing things like that. Seeing the game out. I think it was always kind of like, we score 5, you score 4 kind of thing. That was all. Certainly that first season when us, the Bielsa Leeds team and Farke's Norwich were going at it, it just felt like Norwich won every game 4-3 that season in the last minute as well.
A bit like Ipswich now, eh?
That's it. Ipswich are really similar. And fair play to him. But obviously they've got big fish to fry, come kind of like April and that lot. And don't get me wrong, their March is looking quite favourable, but April maybe less so. But listen, the thing is, And that's probably another discussion. That's probably a good topic of discussion, actually. How much are you looking at other teams' fixtures at this moment in time, Joe? Because I'm looking at Southampton. They've dropped off in games where you're thinking, how are they losing them games all of a sudden? I mean, are you looking? I'm not even looking that much at the fixtures anymore.
I swear to God, I'm not, bro. The only time I look at the fixtures, just because I'm confident in Leeds United, the only time I look at the fixtures is when I'm planning my weekend and which games I'm covering. But yeah, like I've always, because people always saying, what about Ipswich? What about Southampton? If they're behind me, I'm not asked. The only one I'm looking at right now is Leicester. They've got QPR at the weekend, which I think they'll win, although QPR have turned some form. But I did see a graphic done by the second tier earlier on where they were rating the fixture difficulty over the next 12, and Leeds United have the easiest running. So ignore that. I don't know why it's just done that. My iPhone. But yeah, Leeds United have the easiest running, so that's a positive. But I haven't looked into it in much depth. I just remember that earlier on in the season, we played a lot of the top six and we played them away from home, and it's actually benefited us massively because now, you know, they've still got to play all them games, whereas we're sat pretty going, you know what? But then again, we have to be careful because last weekend, mate, 6 of the bottom 8 in the championship all won. So they're scrapping for their lives as well. So it's a different kind of pressure when it gets like that, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, am I right in saying QPR are still playing Elias Chair? Just that was completely off topic. I believe he's still playing for him, isn't he? I'm
is
sure
he really?
At the weekend.
I'll have a look, mate.
Definitely saw something about it. And obviously, QPR have actually had a bit of an upturn in form under
they have. Yeah.
Marci Cifuentes, I think it is. I've had a bit of. And listen, I still fully expect that Leicester, if they're anywhere near what they were against us, probably are going to see that one out like a 2-0 or something. But
Chair played, mate. Chair played.
Yeah, that is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? That is absolutely mad. But yeah, listen, as much as I hate listen, there's no word for it what he did, but he's a quality player if he's on the pitch, kind of thing. There's no question about that, and it shows how good he is. That QPR is so desperate for him to play. So it's still a QPR team with a very, very dangerous number 10 in that side who can cause problems against Harry Winks in transition for me. So it wouldn't surprise me totally if Leicester did maybe have a bit of a slip up there, but who knows? Who knows? Last thing to touch on then, mate, is there's been a lot of talk as well since the game in terms of obviously how good that Archie Gray and Ampadu pivot was. We've kind of touched around it as well. I'll give you the topic then, Joe. Everyone's fully fit. Form levels are about the same. We're playing whoever you want to play in the league. What is your team tomorrow? Starting 11, fully fit. What starting 11 are you going with?
It's so difficult. We tried. We tried to do it on my channel weeks back, and we ended up settling with Stroud back in and Gray right back and all this sort of stuff. But I think I got a bit frustrated yesterday because people were talking about Ampadu has to play midfield. He's our best player and all that, and I don't disagree.
You can't just.
I don't disagree.
Like
but why? Switch. Yeah, why? Like, why do we even need to do that? Like, there'll be a clamouring to get Archie in midfield as well. But I just think because I don't think Roberts was that great yesterday, by the way, Oscar.
I agree, to be honest.
Yeah. But if everybody's fit, oh God, I get shot for this, but
go for it, man.
I don't see how you can change the midfield or the centre-back partnership with the form that they've been on. And I'm not saying that if Strauch, because I love Strauch as well, and I'm not saying if Strauch was playing that we wouldn't be on a similar sort of trajectory. But I just think maybe in the Premier League it looks different. But right now in the Championship, for what we need over these 12 games, I would just keep it as Strauch Rodon, because that's the main topic in it. It's Strauch Rodon, Ampadu Kamara, Nonto at right wing instead of James, and I'm keeping Gray at right back over Roberts, Firpo left back, Somerville, Rutter, Bamford. That's my team. I don't think you can come away from that.
I'm going to surprise you here. I'm the same. Actually.
Okay, wow. Okay, that has surprised me, mate.
The only one I was between, and it's kind of flipped in the last week or so, is Kamara and Gruev in terms of who goes alongside Ampadu. I think at this moment in time, I'd go Kamara, just in terms of, I think if Ampadu's on the pitch, what Gruev gives is less crucial. Don't get me wrong, Gruev, no problem at all with Gruev keeping his place in the team. No problem at all with anyone keeping the place in the team, for that matter. But I think Gruev coming off the bench with those line-breaking passes against tiring legs, that's maybe something to utilise. But I think what I would say, in terms of what you said about Pascal, is that we are in the ideal scenario of Pascal Struijk. It couldn't be any better for us in that kind of case, because we don't need to rush him in.
No,
Not many teams get that luxury when they've got a player. We don't even know when Pascal's coming back from injury.
No. Yeah.
But we do have that luxury. We don't need to rush him back in. And the one thing I'd say about the injuries that Pascal has had this season, you don't want it to reoccur. In those final sort of 4 or 5 weeks of the season that Farke has spoken about all season. So I would rather just.
Bro, we've got 9 weeks left, Oscar. 9. That's nothing. So, for me now, just don't upset the apple cart, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It'd be crazy to do that, I think.
That's it. And I think the other thing to mention as well is that Archie Gray and Ampadu, because we push teams back that deep and we're so high up the pitch, effectively, Ampadu, low-key, is kind of playing as a third midfielder anyway. Archie Gray drifts inside and plays as a right-sided midfielder anyway. So we've effectively got 4 midfielders on the pitch most weeks. Listen, defensively, maybe you would prefer Pascal there, outright. But against most teams we play against, I don't think that many are testing Rose and Ampadu. I think the closest has been Leicester, but Leicester will test anyone defensively in that respect. But I'm actually totally agreeing with you there, mate. I just think that balance it's worked pretty much since September for us. Yes, there's been some changes. Jed Spence, obviously came and went, and we kept Archie Gray back in his position. Our form completely dropped off when Spence went in.
We've won 9 games on the spin, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's wild to even have the conversation. In my opinion, it is wild to be having a conversation about changing it, in my opinion.
That's it. I mean, my only thing about it is just in the future.
In the future.
Next season. But 100%. As far as I'm concerned, in the foreseeable, I see no reason at all to change it. I think.
Can you imagine he changed it and we lost, bro?
Oh, exactly. It's and then the narrative is, Pascal isn't good enough for this Leeds team anymore. Exactly, Pascal's useless. He's the weak link. Or So how many times do we see it with, say, Nonto when he kind of went in and out of the team? When he was being rotated for James and he didn't score or assist and we lost the game. It was Nonto still doesn't want to be here. And,
exactly.
Things like that, wasn't it? It was and I think we're all guilty of that at points this
100%.
season. It's and that's it. But you see with this Leeds team in terms of, and there's no concern for that with me in terms of players not being in the team are going to cause a fuss. I don't see it at all. Connor Roberts' mentality seems spot on. He maybe didn't have the best of games yesterday, but comes on against Leicester, has an impact, and it's not something I'm massively concerned with. And the Joel Piro stuff as well. Joel Piro to me doesn't seem like at all a disruptive character. I mean, he's just happy to be in a team that's fighting and a serious team, and maybe that's the adaptation that he struggled with a little bit. The fact that, hang on a second, you're not in the Swansea team anymore where everything's kind of built around him and he's the best player by a mile.
Yeah.
He's alongside pretty much everyone else in that front four. He's probably better technically than him. So it's a bit of an adaptation. But it's just looking through the comments here. There's a few shouts to keep Robertson at right back.
I don't know why though. For me, I don't know what we're seeing.
Joseph over Bamford.
Nah, it's too soon, man.
Yeah, I'm the same on that.
I know he scored 2 goals and all that, but it's too soon yet. For me, anyway. I think that's just my opinion. I think coming off the bench, I want to be turning to him as opposed to Piro if Piro's not on the pitch. But I think it's too soon to be starting him over Bamford. Come on, man. I think Bamford's been amazing for us.
I mean, this is a very harsh one off Danny. Hang on, sorry, not this one. It's apologies, Danny. Apologies to you, Danny. I totally agree with that opinion. It's to David Lofthouse actually saying, "Why do you hate Dan, Joe?"
Is he on about Dan James?
Yeah, I don't that vibe at all of you at all.
No, I didn't like him at the start of the season, David Lofthouse. But
I mean, let's be honest. Let's have a real talk now. Was anyone championing Dan James as being a starter for a team pushing for the top 2?
No, definitely.
I think if you are saying you were, I think you may be telling a few porkies there. To be honest, all right, fair play if he did, but I don't think many people were.
Would you start him over Nonto? I wouldn't. And I think manager's already showed you his decision by playing Dan last night and not Nonto.
Yeah, I mean, they've spent in time. No, I wouldn't say so. But I think over the season, if you're judging it over the whole body of work of the season, I think Dan James has been the better player, in terms of based on performance and output. But Nonto on current form, I actually think the last month has played better than Somerville and Rutter. I think he's been more consistent.
And just for David, just to back, he's got like 6 goals involvements in 6 games or something like that on the spin. I think he's scored in the last 4 consecutive away games in the league or something. So to think that I'm hating Dan and therefore picking Nonto, no, I'm picking Nonto just purely on form, man. Just purely on form. He's better than Dan James.
Legit, I don't think there's a single player in his team who would. Well, I hate the word dislike or hate and stuff like that, but there's not a single player I even think of that kind of like.
No.
And that's what I really love about this team. It's not a single player I'm looking at and thinking they can't at least do a job for us, you know, or at least bring leadership into the team. I think that's, you know, I can't think of one really, unless there's anyone in the comments or anything. But I think we're all pulling in the right direction, kind of thing. And I think Dan James coming off the bench, you know, I think you saw against Plymouth. You know, he was a massive part of us seeing through that game. You know, 2-0 and that. What he really pushed Plymouth back. He won the free kick in terms of where he hit and then he hit the post. So you know, he's a different Dan James, definitely. But I still think Nonto on current form, you've got to say he's in front. And I don't see. I think if you take Nonto out of the team now as well, I think it hurts his confidence a lot in terms of the fact that he's recovered back to his best level, and then he comes out of the team. I think for another reason, Farke will be very careful about that. And
100%.
I think the thing with Daniel Farke is that he has been criticised at times this season, but I love his man management personally.
Amazing,
as soon as you get in his good books, you're trusted then, kind of thing. And that's what I'm hoping Charlie Creswell at some point in his Leeds career, you know, can get onto that path, because as soon as he trusts you, he'll back you in the press, he'll back you on the pitch, etc., etc. He will back you. There's no question about it at all. And if you aren't fully invested into what he's doing, a la Jed Spence, Sinistera, Nonto at the start of the season, Creswell at times this season, you're not playing. And that's the mentality that this team needs to have. And that's why we've won 9 games on the bounce.
Did you see Jed Spence keeps playing like 60 odd minutes and he's been playing left wing back?
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, he's like just not match fit. It's like, oh, that's a surprise.
Playing left wing back though, now manager got absolutely beasted for that, and the other manager's playing him there as well. So I mean, I don't know if I speak, I am in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you were on the the right side of history with Jed Spence. You were
definitely.
It's one of them. It's like do you know that meme where it's like "stop booing, he's right" kind of thing? That's a meme, must it? It was one of them. But yeah, listen, it was, and the criticism Daniel Farke took with that.
Very loads, man.
You know, and it's what the big managers do, and it's the decisions they make. But,
mate, honestly, if you be genuine, like be honest now, and like not that you're not, but I mean, like, I'm asking, has he got anything wrong? Do we think he's got anything wrong at all?
What, so it's like my management? And
just in general, maybe his subs in the early parts, maybe, but I just think there was
over a season, you know, it's going to be,
exactly.
We played like 34 games, there's going to be some mistakes, but I think in the general theme of what we're doing, I wouldn't say we've gone on the wrong direction in anything, the wrong path. All right, there's been, like, say, those decisions he made at Stoke away when we went with a totally changed team and he tried to bring Gruev straight in. All right, that backfired, but over a season, there's going to be mistakes, kind of thing. And I wouldn't say, I'd say he's got it. I mean, in terms of the man management, and I can speak in terms of inside the club.
You'll know.
From the start of the season, you know, and that first game against Cardiff, in terms of just the general atmosphere and the general belief at that time of the season, where it was like, it was unthinkable we'd be anywhere near what we're doing right now. You know, 2-0 down on the first game of the season against Cardiff, and always remember that Birmingham away game as well. That was a long, long, long drive back. And I was thinking, we're going to be mid-table again. We're going back to the Warnock, the McDermott, the Steve Evans days, you know, whoever you want to list in that, and Thomas Christensen. But, yeah, in terms of that side of things, he has got everything.
Perfect man, and he, you know, you said it on Twitter, mate, and I couldn't agree with you anymore when you said we have the perfect manager for the championship running. Like, he's just built different to the rest. Like, and as you see, like with Russell Martin crumbling before our eyes, Daniel Farke's just tunnel vision looking at that title. And listen, how do you feel with that, by the way? Because I was speaking to some other fans of championship clubs today on the White Rose Rivals just before this, and they think Leicester will
check that out, by the way, guys. You know, anyone on this,
fun, man.
Enjoy it. That is class. That is class.
It's good. But do you do you think we can win the title, bro? Or do you think? Because I said before the game, and I got a bit of stick saying, regardless of if we beat Leicester, I still fancied them because 6 points, although it sounds small, it's quite a lot when you consider Leicester have barely lose games. Do you think we could get the title?
I still think we can. Yeah. I think we're going to have to be on a similar
perfect,
run.
aren't we?
Yeah, we'll have to be near perfect. We're going to have to probably win 10 out of 12 or 9 out of 12. And as the season gets into those last few weeks, it can get, that can sound like quite a tall order. But listen, Leicester, 6 points ahead, 12 games to go. Half a point a game we need to make up on them. So a point every 2 games we need to keep making up on them, which is it's not impossible.
No, they've got to play Southampton as well, haven't they? That's a big one.
Yeah, exactly that. And the fact no one has challenged Leicester all season. We're the closest really anyone's got to Leicester all season. Even Ipswich, as much as they were flying, they never actually got this close to them. Southampton certainly never got this close to them.
No.
So we have put that pressure on them. The fact we're beating them twice, that little bit of doubt might have set it in. The last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, they have been off it a little bit. Obviously, we both know Locks very well. We've got residents.
Bro, that guy made it onto propaganda, by the way. He made it onto propaganda this week. I don't know.
What's propaganda?
You'll have to listen to it. And he made it on because basically he was saying that Leeds are going to win the title and that, and Square Ball were like, "What are they on about, man?"
heads rolled off after that.
Heads have gone, haven't they? Yeah, definitely.
Well, the other thing is psychologically, Leicester have basically won the league on 80 minutes on Friday night. For me, I don't know if it was the same for you, but I felt in the grounds like, promotion's not over for us, but Leicester have done it now. Leicester, there's no way they don't then go on and get the points they need to get to seal the top 2 or top 1, whatever way you want to put it. And then for it to almost like go from 12 points to 6 in the space of 10 minutes, like it did, because listen, Leicester were very good for 80 minutes, but their performance dropped off a lot at 1-1.
Yeah, they bottled it, man. They bottled it. They went to shit, man. They
genuinely did. And, they can talk about the first 80 minutes and fair play if they do, but there was no question about it. Had the shoe been on the other foot, we'd have been talking a lot about, that last 10 minutes. Did the lights get a bit too bright for some people? Did the lights get too bright for Maresca in terms of some of the subs he made, in terms of taking Mavididi off at 1-0? I mean, that was when I started to believe a little bit, when Mavididi came off, I thought, hang on a second, that's a strange one to do, because that just frees up Archie a little bit, Colin Roberts, but it's definitely doable. I don't
100%.
If you're asking me right now, will we win the league? I'm going more towards a kind of 70-30 no, but nothing because of what we'll do badly. Just in terms of Leicester, I can't see them dropping enough points for us to
catch them.
Because even Leicester, say, losing 2 out of 12, which is what kind of needs to happen, that feels like a bit of a tall order in its own respect, even if we're perfect. So we'll see. But we've seen stranger things happen this season.
100%.
So I still believe. And the fact it was 17 points at one point, as someone's pointed out here, it was 17 points back. We got it down to 6. I mean, if we did win the league, I'm going to say it now, it would be the best championship title win.
100%. From where we were, Oscar, 100%.
There's no question about it. Forget your points records and that lot that people allude to, saying that Reading won the league in 106 points, blah, 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 blah. That would be the best title win ever, if in terms of at this level.
We gave them a free month. We gave them August. They had a month's head start. That's the way I see it.
I mean, I'd also argue July. I think in terms of July, we didn't have a clue. After July the 30th, I wouldn't have been able to tell you half of what the Leeds starting 11 would be at that point. We still didn't know the full extent of Harrison and Sinisterra turning around and last minute deciding, I don't want to be part of this. Tyler Adams. I mean, these are all players we were planning with at first, in terms of, so to then all of a sudden say, hang on a second, you're now going to have to sign other players like Glenn Kamara's or Gruev's on cut price deals. I think effectively Leicester and Southampton, yes, they still lost your Ward-Prowses and your Madisons, but they knew before pre-season we were going to lose them players. They made the signings to replace them before they even went. So I would argue, yes, a month or 5 or 6 games playing time, but all that time, it says the whole mentality as well around the club was much more suited at Southampton and Leicester to a promotion push than what it was at Leeds. At that point, there's no question. And the fact Daniel Farke himself, he arrived late, in terms of the start of July. It wasn't actually official until I think it was either the 4th or the 5th of July, which is late. It's the start of pre-season. I don't know if you remember.
I don't know if you've seen that Birmingham lineup. Have you ever gone back and looked at that Birmingham lineup?
Oh, mate, Jamie Shackleton right wing is what I can remember.
Jamie Shackleton was right wing. Joffrey Gelhardt was in the 10, right? Honestly, it was wild.
Charlie Creswell started, didn't they?
Charlie Creswell and Cooper, I think. It was wild, mate.
Did Drame start that Birmingham game?
Who, sorry?
Drame start that Birmingham?
Yeah, I think so. Left back,
yeah, left back as well. Yeah, it was absolutely insane when you see it, like in terms of how. Yeah, it was just.
So it was Mellier, right? Mellier, Ayling, Creswell,
of course, yeah.
Creswell, Strauch, Byram, Gray, Ampadu, James, Pervada, Shackleton, and Gelhardt in the 9. Like, that's mental. And we only lost that game to a last-minute pen, by the way. So.
And Birmingham were doing well at that point as well.
Yeah,
we're actually, obviously, Eustace was doing a good job there, to be fair, at the time. And yeah, I mean. And even like say the Cardiff and the West Brom game must have been a similar lineup. I mean, Vigo and Joe Rodon come in at that point. So for me, the moral of the story is, had Farke started with the same resources and the same settled squad and settled atmosphere as what Martin and Maresca had, I think we would be winning the league this season. I think we would be top of the league now, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. And like I say, I agree with what you said. If we were to win the league from here and where the position we're in, it's up there for me. And just a testament again to Daniel Farke and the 49ers in bringing him in and giving him what he needs. I think everything from recruitment to the way, the future's bright, mate. The future's white. Bring me that Premier League money, and then the world's our oyster. We can really start to look up for me, Oscar. I genuinely feel this. Like, I'm just not no BS. Like, I think we get the Premier League, we're there to stay, and European nights coming soon.
We'll take it. Listen, mate, I mean, the thing to say is that we've got a huge talent pool at this club as well. In terms of, you saw it last night in terms of Matteo Joseph, Archie Gray. But the fact of the matter is, I won't say you said it to me, but someone respected in the Leeds community, in terms of a former Leeds player, said to me, even before Archie made his debut, people will talk about Archie now, but his brother is even better than what Archie is, kind of thing. Harry Gray, he's going to be an even better player compared to Phil Foden, this guy. So, for an academy coach to compare. I mean, listen, no pressure on Harry Gray, by the way, but that is kind of what was said to me in that kind of sense, and that was like a wow. Obviously, Finlay Gorman was another one that was mentioned. He's unfortunately gone to Man City. That was a big.
Did you see the clip of that under 13 doing their mad skills? I don't know who that is, but wow.
Yeah, again, I won't be able to tell you that was kind of thing. That was, but yeah, the talent pool here is absolutely unreal. And in terms of Yorkshire, anyone from the Huddersfield area, Sheffield area, they're going to come to Leeds. Not to be arrogant, but they are going to come to Leeds, and we're going to be able to hoover up that talent, into our academy, and that's when you add the likes of Archie Gray into it, see how far we can get, and it's exciting times, man. It's exciting times. It does feel like 2021 all over again. In terms of, you were talking about Europe, tuning up the band and things like that.
Yeah, man, we're back. We're back,
baby. We're back. But yeah, it's just good to be. Yeah, this time last year we were preparing for. Javi Gracia's first game had just happened, so and we were guessing.
I seen one of my TikToks where I was going, "Welcome, Javi Gracia," and going, "Bambaleo, Bamba." Look how that worked out.
Right, looking back now, we really were in the trenches at that point. We talked about the managers we were linked with. Iraola at the start. Iraola and Ernesto Valverde were the starters. Like, we can't settle for any less than that. Then it was Carlos Corberán. It was like, we can't settle for any less than that. Then it was Arne Slot. Then it was
who was that? We got that guy in, didn't we? Schrouder, and then we
Schrouder. I was trying to remember his name then. Megamind, he was linked to it, and it was like, okay, we'll go for Javi Gracia then, and that was
Big Sam.
Javi, we'll never forget the 4-2 at Wolves, but it's time to go. You know what I mean? But
Mad
yeah, man,
times.
it's different times, and
Yeah.
we've got the momentum, man, and we've got the best manager in this situation possible. You've said it as well. It's the best times. But mate, just to finish off with, make sure. I mean, I'll be surprised if anyone watching this is not subscribed to Just Joe.
Legend.
But if you're not, then have a word.
Yeah.
Seriously, have a word.
Have a
Question
word.
what you are doing with your life and go to hit that subscribe button. I'll sure that's it. Because myself and Joe, we are doing a live on Joe's channel at 9 o'clock. So
yeah, final word. Final word.
Final word.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, it'll be good fun. And check it out, guys. Smash that like button. Subscribe to Joe and subscribe to us while we're at it. And we have just hit that 30k mark. So
massive. Well done, by the way. Well done.
Cheers, man. Cheers, man. I mean, listen. I mean, the part you played in it over the years, man, absolutely unreal. Absolute legend. The OGs are back in force.
The OGs, exactly, man. That's the one.
But yeah, I am on the away leg. I think Joe's got an away goal though. That's the issue. He's got the away goal. Yeah, that's the problem.
You don't count anymore, Oscar.
You don't actually. Count, man. I can go onto your channel and just park the bus. Go, mid 2000s vibes and just park the bus. But guys, do check it out. And the best name in the fan base. Apologies to Andrea, but Giancarlo Paolucci.
Yeah, he's a fake Italian though, is Giancarlo. Andrea's real. He's a schnout.
Yeah. I've met Giancarlo many times actually at the game. I could not believe
how thick his Yorkshire accent was.
Not absolute legend though, and yeah, top man. But he still has the best name. Even if Joe's own words, you're a fake Italian. It's
his real name's Dave Paolucci. He's just stuck that Giancarlo on there, man. I'm telling you.
George Palmer's his real name.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, guys, leave it out. Leave it up. Big up the Italians. Right, guys. Big thanks for watching, and we will see you later. See you at 9 o'clock on Joe's channel, guys. Cheers, guys. See you later.